I think it's hard to buy into the whole idea of gender roles because there the expectation of what manhood is supposed to be has shifted for women. I think that we've kind of lowered our standards for men based off of what we've seen and what we've been told. So it's just like I don't know if we think that all men are capable of doing these things that you guys are mentioning men are supposed to be doing. And it's just like if we're noticing within the
Capable.
community, if we're noticing within the community that men aren't doing these things, then wouldn't the woman just naturally adapt and say, "Oh, okay, well this is the new idea of manhood," because younger men do not think the way that you guys think, right? Like I hear you speaking, but I'm like, they don't care about these things. And I would even say if he wants to paint his nails, he's gonna be like, well, I'm still a man because I got, the pickle between my legs. So you can't tell him that he's no longer a man because he wants to paint his nails or because he wants to cook and clean and wash the dishes and maybe he wants to be the stay-at-home dad. He still thinks that he is a man because he has the organs and because he wakes up every day and chooses to be heterosexual.
Even if he didn't have the pickle between his
Do I
legs,
gotta use TikTok language?
No,
no.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm like,
But see,
Even if he
all of
did,
this fluidity
even
is
if he
what
didn't
got us.
have it between his legs, we would still consider him a man. I don't know why you're saying I don't know who would consider him not a man, even if he get it removed. We're still going to look at him as a man if he removed the organs. And you're saying capable. The question is, what do you mean capable? From as far as I'm concerned, as long as he's got blood in his veins and all of his limbs are working, and he's got air in his lungs, he's capable. So what do you mean? Like you're not sure that these men are capable of doing the manly tasks they're supposed to do? Because
And
far
then
as I'm
add on.
concerned, this conversation is a matter
maybe,
of just not having the education, not being informed enough to do it. When
yeah,
you're talking about capability, now you're talking about physicalities.
they just don't know, right? If we're saying that the majority of men are being raised by single moms, so they're not really being taught, these gender roles and what they're expected to do, then the idea of what a man is supposed to be and what a woman is supposed to do has shifted, right? Because he grew up seeing women do everything by themselves, right? So now when he goes out there and date, he's expecting for the woman to be like his mom. His mom did everything. She was raking the leaves and taking out the trash and doing all this stuff. So when you say, "Oh, women have these feminine qualities and these gender roles," well, he saw mom doing everything. So now you don't get no cookie for knowing how to cook and cook well. You don't get no cookie or appreciation. You don't get no cookie or appreciation for knowing how to wash the dishes. They'll laugh in your face.
So I got a question for the women. Are these the types of men that you are accepting? Are you accepting these type of men who are not capable? Are y'all getting with dudes that can't change tires and paint their nails and want to wash dishes? Is these the type of men that you were engaging with? That's the question. Who's doing that?
I
Raise
am
your hand,
getting
please.
with men who want to wash the dishes.
That's a good
Like,
question.
but the painting
What
nails,
what color they
I
get they
no, I've
tips?
never dated anyone to paint their nails.
Pause.
But in my relationship, we both share most of the duties: washing dishes, cooking. Some days I cook, some days he cooks, some days he washes the dishes, some days I wash the dishes. Like, we share those things.
I mean, to answer your question, Trev, I'm not a woman,
He was
obviously.
asking when.
I
Sorry.
would say the women who are at descending from their peak value should be doing every goddamn thing in the book to try to get hitched. I mean, think about it. Kevin Samuels said it best: winter is coming, and a lot of y'all are gonna die alone. So if you are at the bottom of your peak value, you should be changing tires, fixing stoves, changing light bulbs, mowing lawn, all kind of shit to try to get out of the fucking weather.
Oh gosh.
To answer the question, what would happen if we remove the gender roles? So I looked at it like as a perspective of a teacher. If I have my students inside of a class and it's a small group, everybody has a role, right? We all remember that in school. Like somebody was a timekeeper, somebody was a note taker, somebody was the presenter, the materials collector. Like everybody had a role, right? Um, if you remove those gender roles, you remove the rules, you remove the structure. Like Darwin was saying, you remove the order, you dismantle the foundation. It creates chaos. And I think it's a way for people to run away from accountability and responsibility that are tied to those roles. And it gives them a false sense of, yeah, I can do what I want, how I want. I don't think we should really be like going back and forth about like who washing dishes and who not, because that's always going to be subjective to how everybody's situation is. I don't think it's necessarily a right or wrong for that. It's got to get done. Like if I'm a single woman right now, I'm not going to starve. Like my house is, or if I was a man, right? My house is not going to be dirty, right? Because I'm looking for a woman. I'm not going to starve. So we're already going to be self-sufficient. I don't really think that's a conversation. I think a lot of the times what's hidden behind all of that is like masculine, feminine. Is she modest? Is she still humble? Is she still passive, nurturing, observant, emotional? We don't care about if you're washing the dishes and who cooking and cleaning. Like just for the man, okay, he changing the tire. He able to pay the bills, but is he confident? Is he assertive? Is he directive? Is he communicative? Is he balanced? Is he logical? Right. So these are the discussions that we should be having. Like, I don't really care who clean up because it's got to get done. If we're both sanitary individuals, it's gonna happen, right? So that's my take on that. I don't, and again, I think that's the fluidity that we're discussing. It's not like I want to be a man and a man wants to be a woman. It's like my masculinity and my femininity is not wrapped around who gonna wash the damn dish or who gonna mop the damn floor. Like it's gonna get done. Now, if I'm in a house with a man or my husband and that's what he dictates or he wants, then I'm part of his program. I just have to fall in. That's what I signed up for. I'm not gonna sit up here and argue that. But as a single person, you still have to be self-sufficient. And again, in a relationship, you got to play your role. Like we can't keep trying to blur the lines and just say that these things are going to be non-existent because they're still going to find ways to show up no matter how we try to label or dislabel it. So again, that's just my point. I mean, I'm on stance with that. As far as like gender roles, that's a new thing. I don't know if, because I be trying to do like a little research when I be hearing the title, so I be a little more educated on what I be talking about. But this whole gender role title has only been around since like 1955. And technically, when it was around, like the basis was like the specific things you do to define you as a boy or a girl or a man or a woman, right? And again, maybe that's subjective now because we have this whole alphabet community and it's like spilled and bled over into everything where we feel like everything is fluid and open to discussion. But it's not. Certain things are just what they supposed to be. Like I keep saying, tradition and foundation. Those are like the two words I've been saying since I've been coming on these podcasts with y'all. Tradition and foundations. So yeah, I think that's where we get mixed up at. It don't matter who cooking and cleaning. Like y'all gonna establish that. That's a conversation that's again individualized and subjective. But behind all of that, are we really dealing with the individual who are meeting again? Is she feminine? Is he masculine? Because if not, I think that's where your dissatisfaction comes in. Because you can have to clean this house and still have a disruption or imbalance in your relationship due to the lack of femininity or masculinity. So I'll land my plane there.
Pearl, I just want to say before anybody else jump on, you are the first person, and it's crazy because you're not even a man, who actually gave a clear idea of what the gender roles are when it comes to femininity and masculinity that had nothing to do with the tasks that individuals do on a day-to-day basis. And that's why we got into this full conversation. And I asked them specifically, what is it that a man is supposed to do and what is it that a woman is supposed to do? You are the first one. I agree with everything you said. That's all I want to say.
You didn't hear none of us say it's contingent upon what the man asks
Darwin,
of
what
the
I heard
woman.
you say is that your sons will never touch a dish.
So
that you will never touch a dish. You was talking about dishes and fixing houses and roofs and building with bricks and stuff like that. She said none of those things, please.
She didn't have to, but did you not hear me say it was, isn't it contingent? And I posed the question, isn't it contingent upon what the man expects from the woman he plans to make it? a suitable wife out of her.
And then you
Anybody
went
else,
on to say you
anybody
can
can
be
answer
a
if they heard
master
me.
of many skills. Once again, talking about skills and not the individual and what she's bringing to the table as a person, right? The energy she brings to you, the peace she brings to you. You were still talking about skills. Pearl, as I stated, I still stand on my point, is the first person who actually broke it down and what we should actually be talking about.
Or
I agree
perhaps
with
maybe
everything that
that's the only
Pearl
person that you understood.
just
Maybe.
stated. No, I understood everything you said, dog.
So what does it mean when I say it's contingent upon the man who's selecting a woman and what he expects out of her according to the relationship dynamic he wants to have? What does that mean to you?
That is contingent upon his needs. That is based upon his needs specifically. So I don't use the same word that you just used. And I also stated when I was explaining the gender roles thing that it's based upon the individuals in the relationship. I said the exact same thing, and yet we jump with you, you know, how women are not prepared and we are not wives and all of this other stuff. You never talked about the character of a woman. You never teaching your son to wash a dish or not wash a dish or whatever has nothing to do with how he shows up in a relationship as a man.
Actually, it compensates for the character. So if I were vetting you and I say, hey, Todd, I need you to go in and wash those dishes and I need you to fix me a sandwich. You say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. That tells me a lot about your character.
Right.
If I
said that, right?
Exactly. So if I do give you the scenario and the task, I'm able to detect certain qualities in your character. It's going to come out whenever the shit hit the fan.
Understandable.
Exactly.
Once again, Pearl,
So
great job.